Alright, fam. I made it. I'll be having to listen to my music. I'll be on my driving. So that's why I don't ever show y'all when I'm actually like in the car. But I made it. It's so freaking beautiful out here today. And honestly, y'all, I know about the cars today, but I don't even know if I want to do a read out here. I don't know. I'm feeling a quietness within my spirit. But it's not like a reflection quietness. I don't know. It's been feeling more like a transformational, should I say? I don't know. I posted a video yesterday too, y'all. And this morning I took it down. But as I'm talking to y'all, and not only right now as I'm talking to y'all, but a little bit after I deleted it, something in my spirit was like, why did you delete it? But anyway, when I finish with this, I think I'm gonna reload it again. I didn't delete it. I put it on private so nobody can't see it. And I think with the reason why I did do that is because at the time when I recorded the video, I was talking about how lately, I don't know what it is, like if it's something in the air or something, but I've been feeling like a spirit animal arising in me. That's what it felt like. I don't know. But the spirit animal that's been I literally fell on the ground. Y'all see me fall. I cannot wait to watch this over to see myself fall. But anyway, yeah, I'm a little baby fat. Anyway, y'all, I've been feeling like I've been purging. Like, oh my God, that hot tea is so good. Like things that was resonating before, it's not resonating anymore. And I'm speaking from more of a it's from the soul. Like,
well, let's not go down there.
Seems like a lot of time I was connecting with things due to the flesh. But lately I've been just diving deeper. And I've been having less tolerance for ignorance, low vibrational energy, and I just don't want to serve anything or be around anything that's not serving me for my highest self. And I was gonna say highest level, and I feel like spirit was like, yeah, it's levels, because it's levels to this shit. Like the song, like Rod Wave song 25, I think he titled it. Like, it's like certain shit just not the same anymore. Like the things that used to be exciting to me, it's no longer exciting to me anymore. I'm finding more excitement in my peace, being alone, being by myself. My confidence have grown so high to the point where sometimes I don't even recognize myself. Like, literally, like, I remember when I first started this channel, and I said it's not really a reflection, but look at me reflecting. I don't know, it's just, life be lifing. And I always felt like the weird one, outcasted, and just, I don't know, like, even a blind, like, but at the same time, it's like, I'm smart as fuck. I guess I can say I'm book smart, but I'm street smart too. But I can come off a little dingy sometimes. But I love that about myself because my dinginess make people underestimate me too a lot. They think, oh, Ty don't, or she don't. But Ty be knowing, like, I be knowing shit. Even like the plots, like people be like, they get a bitch on me catching on. I'm not even caring about that anymore. It's like even my like, I don't know. I was gonna say like secret enemies and stuff, but in reality, a person who is envious of you, they really admire you. So I don't know. I just don't have time for none of that. Like I don't, like, and I'm a Scorpio, so if you know anything about a Scorpio, like, I guess one of our characters is revenge. Like we're big on revenge, but I don't know. Like even with revenge, like I don't got time for that no more either. Like the best revenge is your paper, success, and even just saying that it's like I don't even care. Like I don't know. I'm just not. I just don't care about a lot of things that I used to care about, and the things that I kind of took for granted, like peace and being alone. I care about that more now. It's like it makes more sense to me. I always like felt called and like to watch like different videos and just different things. Like I don't know. I just always felt like I was always doing the opposite of what my peers would be doing ever since I was a child. Like even at 14 having a baby. Who the fuck having a baby at 14? My grown ass, you know? But it's like I was always doing something different. Like, and I was always kind of felt casted out before doing something different, and now it's like I'm to the point in my life where it's like I'm still doing something different. I'm really not getting cast out anymore, but at the same time it's like now that I'm not getting cast out by others, I want to cast out others. And I'm not saying like I just feel like, oh, I want to be around them. It's not like that. It's just, I don't know, like I just been feeling called to be alone and isolate myself. And I noticed that when I am alone, I am isolated, I love the energy. Like, I love my energy. Like, people's vibration, you can't, control their vibration because you don't know what they do on a regular basis. You don't know what they feel. Like, the mind, body, and soul, we have to take care of that. Not everybody understands that. So, when you're around someone who don't understand that and haven't been doing the work on themselves, I don't know, me personally, I feel that, like, heaviness. I feel that, I was going to say unauthentic, but sometimes people do be being authentic in their delusional way. And what I mean by that is, like, I got a cousin, I ain't going to say no name, though, but you know what, I ain't going to use her. I'm just gonna speak in general. It's like some people, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna speak on myself. I have a old person that I used to know named the old Ty, and she used to like think that like when she would be like living a certain kind of way, like and doing certain things that she know wasn't truly aligned with her, she would feel like she was so caught up into being that person that she didn't realize that she had created outside of herself, that she thought that it was authentic. You get what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you can get so caught up into being this person who you are trying to become or trying to be, and you're not even noticing it, that you end up thinking that that's really you, but it's not. Like, you have, I don't know, some people don't work on their shadow self. Like, they try to block it out with, I don't know, I can't really explain what I'm trying to say, but I know what I'm saying. And it's like I have done so much work on myself, like I said, from my shadow side to the point where it's certain energies and vibrations that I just don't vibe with no more. Like, and I'm not even talking about energy as far as like people either. I'm just talking about energy in general, like environments too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, y'all. I feel like I'm just like the caterpillar that just came out of the cocoon and now it got its wings, and it's like, yeah, we got the wings and we flying, but it's like at the same time, it's like this is something I never ever felt before. You know what I'm saying? It's like the butterfly intentions was always to blossom and to bloom into the butterfly, right? But when it actually reached the place where it's actually have its wings and it's flying, it's like, this is very different, you know, because like, I'm channeling the message from spirit. It's like, you know, at first they start off as a little caterpillar and it's like you're walking literally on the ground, like, you know, and then you go in this cocoon where it's like we isolate ourselves from the world. And I feel like the caterpillar was the version of me that was kind of like out here with everybody, like that version of me where I said thought I was being authentic, but I really wasn't, because I wasn't working on my shadow self. I was just trying to go along with the crowd. Like, I didn't really take the time to really do what I want to do, like how I do now. Like, how I just get up one day, like every other day, damn near, and I just like, what I'm gonna do today. Like, I tell myself in the morning, good morning. I say my whole name, and the reason why I say my whole name, because I feel like I'm a queen. Like, I don't know, it's power in our name though. I know that. And when I speak my name and I say good morning to myself and I treat myself, like the other day I gave myself a spiritual bath with my rose petals in it, it's like I feel that feeling inside of that vibration is I am an empress. Like, I never felt like that when I was a caterpillar. I was like, now that I think about it now, I was like a peasant with everybody else, because I was just going with the flow. And the queens and emperors, they don't just go with the flow. They set the standards. They set the fucking bar, like. So, and then it's like, after I left that season, I went into the caterpillar season, and I started the caterpillar season definitely in 2017, because that's when my spiritual journey really started for me, honestly. Like, and I remember I still bottled up like a little fetus, nose, snotty eyes. And I know if y'all ain't new to the channel, y'all probably already heard this story, but I just broke down, and before you know it, I had realized I was in a fetus position on the ground crying. And I, you know, eventually wiped my own tears. I stopped ignoring that urge and that feeling to tell me to click on this and click on that and go here and go there. And it's like I started getting directions. I ain't gonna say I started getting directions, because I've been getting directions ever since I was a child. It's just I started listening to that voice within myself, and I stopped ignoring it. And you know what's crazy? Like, during that time, like, I had kind of went through a lot of like big life changes too. Like, I had my kids, and in 2012 I had got a freaking DUI. I was only 20 years old, wasn't even old enough to be drinking, y'all. And it's like, from 2012 I caught a DUI. That just shattered my whole life. Like, literally, I had my first panic attack. Then I almost lost everything. I was on public housing, and I almost lost that, because unfortunately my dumb ass had, when I left the club, I had went and picked up my daughter. So on the way home I got pulled over. So they tried to not only charge me with DUI, but they tried to charge me with child abuse. But thank God I did not get charged with the child abuse. They didn't even drop it down to child neglect. They just completely took it off by the grace of God. And but that DUI stuck with my ass though. That ain't go nowhere. But, you know, it was a misdemeanor. It wasn't a felony. And I learned from that, like I did. And at first I was like angry about it, but And I was even angry at my cousin at the time, honestly, because she was in the car with me when it happened. And the only reason I was even driving then is because I was trying to, get her somewhere safe, because I had somewhere to go and she didn't. So I was angry with my cousin for a while, y'all, because I was feeling like, I asked her to come to court with me and, say what happened and say, like, only reason she was driving because of this. And at the time, I'm so young, dumb as hell, not even, when I say that out loud now, I'm like, what? But I was scared. I never been in jail before, nothing. And I just wanted somebody to come there and help me, support me. And she didn't do it. She told me no. And I felt like, damn, like, that's big. And at the time, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like she stabbed me in my fucking back and in my heart. Because I was facing, some shit that I never been in before. I hadn't lost my license. I almost, DCF got involved, so I had to deal with that. I could have lost my daughter, but I didn't. They actually got out of my business really fast, because once they came to my house, my refrigerator was I remember she opened my freezer and some meat had fell out. It was so packed. And then my daughter's room, I had just like that year, earlier that year during tax season, I had bought my daughter a whole brand new bedroom set. And this was later on in the month. This happened in October, y'all, but 2012. But so when they came to my house, like, they can tell, like, yeah, she's definitely, like, good. Like, she ain't nothing going on over here. But I guess because of the situation, they still had to come to my house and do a check. So after they did that one check, they never came back again. And so I got that off my back. And then with the public housing, they tried to kick me off because of the child abuse. That's a felony. But I had appealed it, and I had to go sit with a meeting to meet with the board. And I remember I was so scared, and my mama and my aunt came with me at the time, because I was so young too, y'all. I never been in this situation before either. So I had to learn a lot of shit the hard way, put it like that. And then, I went to the appeal, like I said. And then when I went to the appeal, I told my story, and I let them know, like, I was not charged with the child abuse, which was a felony, because they didn't care about the misdemeanor. That wasn't, against the rules to be there. But that felony they cared about. And it was so embarrassing too to even have to speak on that, like, child abuse, really. Like, I was so flat the fuck out, y'all. Even though I had, picked her up so that I could get my cousin somewhere. Okay, I know y'all probably wondering, what you mean by that? Let me tell y'all. Okay, so my daughter I had took her to my mom's house, right? Before I had went out, because my plans was staying at my mom's house. But at the time, my mom and my cousin had a little beef going on, so my mama didn't want my cousin to come over. So her mama was tripping too, and she couldn't go to her mama's house. So when her mama wouldn't let her come there, I went to my mama's house. I got ready to get out of the car, and I was gonna let her sleep in the car. But when I turned around, my cousin was so wasted, and her legs was open, and so I felt like a feeling of guilt. Because I kept thinking, like, what if something happened to her? What if she get raped? What if, anything can happen? And she's in my car, passed out, drunk, sleep, and it's 3, 4 in the morning. And I wasn't planning on getting back up and taking my daughter to school until about 8 o'clock, because I think they had to be to school at like 9 or 8, something like that. I don't even remember. My baby was young. This was a long time ago. But so I had when I turned around and looked at her, my conscience wouldn't let me leave her. So I went in the house and got my daughter, and then I got back in the car, and then I started heading home. And on my way home, that's when I got pulled over. So boom, that's the full story. And that's why I kind of felt, at the time, I was angry at her, because I felt like all this happened because of you. Like, I was trying to help you, and this happened to me. But like I said, I'm older now. I have moved past it. I was reflecting one day, and God just came to me out of nowhere, and he was like, it wasn't her fault. And I don't remember what year that was, but God did come to me and told me it wasn't her fault. You took on that. So yeah, I had to accept the responsibility. And when I did, like, I did apologize to my cousin later on, and I told her that I was sorry, because at the time I was so angry at her that I didn't really see, it from, I guess, a higher level. And now when I look back on it, I feel like I don't regret it. Like, that DUI saved my life, literally. Like, That's when it all started. That's when everything, like, that's when I started. I ain't had no choice but to go in the cocoon. Like, I had to leave the caterpillar. I couldn't be around everybody. I couldn't hang with everybody no more. Shit, I had other shit to worry about now. I got court and stuff. And that, you know what's crazy, y'all? Like, I had to go to court, like, the whole 2013, right? And I never, ever got a ride. The whole time, every single time I went to court, I had to catch the city bus. Every fucking time. Nobody never called me. Nobody never offered me a ride. Nobody even, it's like nobody didn't even fucking care. I was like, and I remember when I first, like, I don't know if it was after my first court day or like when I don't remember, but I think it was my first court day. I came home and I was so depressed that I walked to the corner store. I'm trying not to cry just thinking about it. And I bought this big ass bottle of wine. And I just sat at home all fucking day, drinking wine and smoking weed. And I was so freaking lost. And I was so broken. And I ain't have nobody. When I tell y'all, that was one of the hardest things in my life. And it's like, you know how, like, you'll be going through something, or you'll see somebody else going through something, and you'll be like, try to, like, come around and help that person, because you know, like, you know how I feel to go through some shit, like some life-changing shit. And you try to be that, you know, that helping person for somebody else who, you know, going through something that you went through. And you try to be there for them. Like, that's why I do that for so many people to this day. Like, I would spend the rest of my life doing that, because when I tell y'all, I had so many moments when I was so fucking broken and lost, and I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. And people just act like they ain't even see it. Like, oh, I was so broken then, y'all. But like I said, that was a time when I feel like I literally I was forced into the cocoon. Those caterpillar days is over. And, you know, a lot of the people that I was, like, hanging out with and partying with and shit, like, they slowly just, you know, kind of fell back. And so did I. Like, you know, I realized shit, you know what I'm saying? It was never like, I don't know. I always been the kind of person, like, I always, like, love, like, so I never really had, like, a bad falling out with none of my, like, old friends or associates. To this day, it's still love. Like, I still love them, like, literally, like, my fucking sisters. Like, even though we don't talk every day, or even though, you know, I don't see them, or sometimes it's been a couple years for some of them. Like, I got a homegirl, Lex, that was my bestie back in the day, and I ain't seen Lex in a while, but I still love her, like, to death. Like, so it's like, some of it wasn't, like I say, it's just, I don't know, a lot of shit just changed, y'all. Like, from 2012 to 2017, so what that was, 13, 14, 15, 16, wow, that was 5 years. Oh my gosh. So from 2012, that's when life just took a toll on me. Things changed. And then everything just went to, you know what's crazy, y'all? As I'm sitting talking to y'all, I just realized I didn't have my license for 5 years after that. So my license was suspended for 1 year, right? But I didn't end up getting it back until 5 years later, because I had to pay them all that freaking money. I had to go to drug classes, like, every week. And I had to pay $6 a week for them damn classes. And at the time, you know, I was young as hell, so I ain't really have no good paying job. So money was, and then I had a baby, so I would be on and off with the classes, because I ain't gonna lie, I was still, you know, just a little flag. And when I started taking my classes serious is when 2015, actually. And the reason why I started taking them more serious, because that's when I got pregnant with my daughter, and life just started life even more. Like, so yeah, so 2012 I got pulled over. Everything changed. 2013 it was just a crazy year for me. Like, I had the whole year I was going to court. And then I ended up violating 2 times, not even knowing that I was violating my dumb ass, young and dumb. So I think one time I violated because I had my cousin driving my car, and he didn't have no license either. And because the car ran back to my name and I was on probation, they charged me with that too. And I didn't even know that was possible, but yeah, it was. And then the second time I violated, because I had got put on probation too, y'all. I don't know if I told y'all that, with the DUI when I was going to court. And the second time I violated because I was working at Walmart at the time, and the Walmart I worked at was right around the corner from my house. And I wish I would have walked, but I didn't. I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's right around the corner. I should be able to, bend the corner without getting pulled over. Man, I'm on my way home one night. When I tell y'all, I see the officer, right? And I still went that way, thinking I'll be okay. I knew I was young and dumb because I wouldn't even play with them people at my age now. Like, if I know I had something like that, I wouldn't even play with them people. I would have stayed right there, waited about 10-15 minutes while I even pulled off, probably more, or walked and left that bitch right there. Not playing by my life, my freedom, but yeah, so he pulled me over. He felt bad for me. He didn't arrest me that night. He just gave me a citation. But when I went to court, boom, violation. I was like, wow. So the state was trying to ask the judge to give me 6 months. When I tell y'all, it's like my soul left my motherfucking body. My soul left my body. And I felt like the judge seen it, because I gave him a look. Like, I was so distraught. I felt like they just told me that I was doing life. I never in my life been in jail. I was so terrified, y'all. And I remember, everything in me just, my spirit left my body, y'all. And I felt like the judge must have seen it in me. He must have, he knew it was my first time too. And I felt like he kind of felt a little bad for me. So he didn't make me do the 6 months. He gave me 6 days instead. So the state was pissed about it, but they couldn't do nothing about it because the judge had made the call. And since I had, violated, I guess, I didn't know at the time, but I didn't have to be on probation anymore after I finished those 6 days. So, no, I think he gave me 7 days. He gave me a week, but I ended up doing 6 days in jail. But, my God. And I ain't gonna go too deep into that, but what I am gonna say was the crazy part, y'all, is I was so terrified, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I ended up meeting this girl named Passion, and me and her end up being friends, and I end up kind of linking with her a little bit after we had ended up getting out. And she had a year and a day in there, and that was her first time ever being in there too. And it's crazy because she was in there on some Humberg shit, kind of like I was on. I ain't gonna talk about why she was in there because that's not my place and it's not my business to, it's not my story for me to tell her story. It's if she was here, that's her story to tell. But what I am gonna say was, that's another person, I ain't seen Passion in so long, but we just grew apart. It was never nothing. I never was that friend who somebody can say, oh, I don't with her no more because she did this and she did that, or we had this kind of problem. Now, I don't fall out with my friends like that. Once I love you, and that's love. However you feel about me, that's how you feel about me. But I'm all love over here, and I want to see everybody win. Even the people I don't fuck with. I know some people feel like it's like a secret competition. I don't fuck with her no more. When I see her next time, I'm gonna be doing better. I want everybody to be doing good here. Shit, the fuck, and I'll never be on my high horse too high to feel like if I see somebody else that ain't doing good, I'm gonna look high. The fuck, I don't know. I just feel like so many people be trying to get that. The up on others, and it's man, I don't got time for that. I don't, and I don't like being around people like that in general, females and dudes. I hate people who just think they're just so too highly for other people. Everybody go through shit, bro. Everybody done been through a struggle. Even the motherfucker who you think is doing the best right now, guess what? They struggled before too. They just ain't gonna tell you. And if they haven't, hey, for each his own. But this definitely ain't the channel for people who ain't struggle. So I don't know, but anyway, so yeah, 2013 I was going to court by myself, by my lonely. 2014 I had just like finished with all that. I still didn't have my license at the time because I wasn't going to the DUI classes because I just didn't want to pay that. And I ain't gonna lie, at the time I was still smoking. I needed to smoke at that time. I was stressed the fuck out. So I went up and keep going to them classes, paying them $60 a week, and I'm failing the drug test. Because once you fail the drug test, I still like, it's like the class didn't even count. So they just took my $60, and I ain't have money like that back then. So I'm like, I had to fell back and start going, y'all. So like at the end of 2013, like I said, I ended up having to get violated. I had to go to jail. No, yeah, I violated at the end, but I ended up going to jail in March of 2014. And in 2014, that's when I met my fiance. And I fell in love. And it was crazy, y'all, because I remember, like, at the time I had been through so much bullshit. Because as I'm telling y'all this story, I ain't telling y'all the back end about the fuck niggas I was messing with. About the black eyes and niggas kicking in my fucking doors and putting sugar in my tank, and I'm having to fight like a damn dude to get out the house. And like, I had those past relationships before I met the man of my dreams in 2014. When I tell y'all, I was getting drugged. And I don't mean like drug like beating up like that. I mean like drug through the mud. Like, I didn't know my worth, and I was just dating the wrong kind of people, and they seen my worth, and they was just taking advantage of my worth. And yeah, so after I stopped fucking with all the fuck niggas in my past. I ain't gonna say all, because they ain't fuck with that many niggas like that, but y'all get what I'm saying. But I met my baby, and I remember when I met him, I had been through so much, and it's crazy because I remember, I think this was in 2013, I was like on this little dating app, because I remember, I ain't gonna lie, like when I had done got out at the beginning of 2014, when I had done got out from doing them 6 days, you know, all that was behind me, and I really had like how can I say this, like, I held a lot of resentment towards my family at that time, because I remember when I went to jail, the guy that I was dating, as a matter of fact, I wasn't even dating him. He was just somebody I talked to. He wanted to be my boyfriend, but I didn't want to go with him. And I remember he ended up paying $600 to bum me out of jail, because my mom was telling him that they was gonna wait till the next day to get R&R, and I would have had to stay in jail overnight to get that. It was already about 4 in the morning when I had got arrested, so I had been in there all day, dehydrated and all that, like still wasted from all this alcohol I just drunk, because I think it was like they had like some type of thing where it was like kind of like that boat thing that Megan and Sally be saying, drink or sink or something. So I was with my cousin, and we ended up running into these girls that we didn't know, and one of them, it was 3 girls, and it was one of their birthdays, and they had all these bottles, and they just, like, I don't know, it was so crazy. Like, they were so sweet, their energy was so good, and we was all just like hanging out, and it was like me and my cousin ended up being with them the whole freaking night, like literally, like all 5 of us just hanging out. They had bottles. I think me and my cousin ended up buying a bottle. We just getting wasted, y'all, like wasted. But yeah, and not to mention, again, I'm not even 21 yet, I'm only 20, but having a ball. And that's what happened. Had too much fun, too many bottles, popping too many bottles, and I got wasted. And I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I was just telling y'all that, because you know how, like, when you drink a lot of liquor, the next day you feel like depleted. That's how I was. And not only that, I'm not at home, I can't just drink the water. I remember at one point in time I was so thirsty, just so embarrassing. I had drunk some water out the water faucet, and at the time, like, I'm in Pinellas, so if you are in Pinellas, you know, or if you ever been to jail, you probably know. I don't know, but I was in this place they called it the Central at the time, and I guess that was like the worst place to be, like, living in the jail. And it was like, it was horrible, y'all. It was horrible. I felt like I was in prison. Like how you be seeing those females in prison, everybody be breaking each other out, they be talking loud and this and that, the bitches be fighting, and I was terrified. And I'm only 20 years old once again. Like, I never in my life been in jail, and they got me here with all some people. I remember one girl was like, she was like, oh girl, that ain't that bad, and she asked me what my charge was, and I was like, DUI, and I was like, and I was so hurt. And I remember she was like, oh girl, that's not that bad. She was like, I got child abuse and this and that. She was like, she named a whole bunch of shit. She was like, girl, I'm facing 5 years in prison, and she just said like it wasn't nothing. I remember she said like it wasn't nothing, and I remember she was telling me, she like gave me like the rundown on what to do and what not to do. She was like, don't go out the room. She was like, just stay in the room and this and that, and I'm just listening to it. And I guess she was telling me how she braided everybody's hair and stuff. So I had this she was a white girl, but like I say, she definitely, she gave me the ins and the out, and I really appreciate her for that. And I wish I remember her name, because I would definitely shout her out right now. And I pray that she's doing good right now, and I pray that she came home and got her kids. I really do. Sending that out to the universe. But yeah, so honestly, it made me even more terrified though. So I didn't leave the damn room, and I'm thinking to myself like, so when I found out that they told my son leaving me in there overnight, I'm like, oh hell no. I was pissed. I was livid. And I felt like that's fucked up that my family would do that to me. Like, you know, that's how I felt at the time. But now that I'm old, I'm like, bitch, your ass the one that went to jail. Ain't nobody got the money to be burning you out. You can wait a couple more hours to get out for free with that R&R, like they said. But at the time, I was like, that's really fucked up. That's how I felt. That was really fucked up. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be completely honest right now still. I do feel like if it was somebody else in my family at the time, they would have coughed up them 600 real quick. But because it was me, the troubled child, the one who, you know, Taisha always doing, she always doing, don't just let her sit down and learn her lesson. I felt like that's what it was. Like, I was always kind of one like, oh, well, let her. It's like nobody never tried to like, well, let me. Nah, it was certain people though. They'll get a different treatment when they fuck up. But me, nah, I just had to hit my motherfucking head and wake up and figure it out. That's how I always felt ever since I was a little ass kid. Like, literally, like, I say some shit happen and motherfucker be like, it's your fault. What the fuck? The fuck is my fault? But that's how I felt. So, you know, at that time I was just kind of like, yeah, this shit been happening all my damn life. So it is what it is. And he ended up paying $600 to get me out. So me being blinded by love, what real love was, my family didn't show it and wasn't showing me it at the time. I felt like, I thought, well, maybe that was love that he got me out, you know? So I remember when he got me out, he came and got me. And on the way home, I told him that I would be his lady. What the dumbest mistake I ever fucking made, y'all. So that's what I did. And when I tell y'all, that was the most abusive relationship that I ever been in my entire life. That man took me through hell and back, and it's so crazy because he played the role at first like he was just so sweet and so innocent and so supportive, and he turned out to be a whole freaking monster. And yeah, I ain't gonna too much talk about him though because he's not here anymore, but the crazy part is I still got love for him too though, because he was so hurt. And at the time, like, I didn't realize that the reason why I think I connected to him because we was both hurt and we was healing off each other. Like, but that's never healthy for you to like bond with somebody I was hurt. Like, and at the time I didn't realize that, but now I see that. Like, I was broken, he was broken, and because I was broken and he was broken, we kind of like, I feel like he codependent on me. And when I started to see like, and he was older than me too, so it's like I just realized that I cannot help him. I couldn't help him, like, so that didn't end up working out. But even after we end up not, you know, being together, I still, you know, me and him actually became really close friends. And we would talk about everything. Like, he would even talk about me, talk to me about females and stuff. And you know, it was love. Like I said, I always, even with relationships, like, I never really ended anything bad with people. Anybody who know me for the most part, it's like, if we ever had like a connection or like a love connection, like it's still love. It's not the love. I mean, of course, like I got a man now, so it would never be the love like it used to be anymore. But it's like, it's still love though. You know what I'm saying? I still got love for everybody who I ever fuck with, cause like that's just who I am and what I stand for. And I just feel like once you love, it's like that love can never really go away. You might not be in love with that person anymore, but you still have love for them. If you really did love them, that is. And that's just, I don't know, maybe that's not for everybody. If you comment below, you know, tell me how you feel about it, you know. So I don't know, but so yeah. And I know I'm kind of all over the place with this video, but I feel so settled within my spirit, just sitting out here looking at this water. And yeah, so like I was saying, 2014, I met my baby. I fell in love with him. And then it's crazy because I ain't gonna talk about that in this video. I'll say that for another time, but I gotta know a whole nother abusive relationship to talk about. The one before that one, I was with him for 5 years. But anyway, he ended up getting out of prison too, y'all. So, and the reason why I said him too is because the one I was just telling y'all about, I met him when he had just got out of prison from doing like a 10-year bid. And but before him, I dated this other guy, and you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the only 4 guys that I ever really dated in my whole entire life. And I feel like my whole life I always dated somebody too. Let's not talk about that. At one point I felt like I remember I was trying to break up with my fiance at one point in time, because I kept feeling like I just want to be by my goddamn self. Like, I want to know how it feels just to be single and be okay with being single, not want to talk to nobody, not want to date, just date my damn self. Because he was, you know, tripping, and he almost lost me too. But this was, you know, back in the day, a couple years ago. But yeah, and I was just like, bitch, leave me the fuck alone. Like, all y'all, I just felt like every time I fuck with somebody, y'all be my motherfucking downfall. Like, I be sitting right here falling in love and shit, heart broke by the, oh my god, he cheated on me, I can't believe, like, bruh, honey, bitch, when I fucked around to find out who the fuck I was, I ain't never let a man play with me since. But yeah. So, what I was saying, it's funny to think about that. Yeah, I had to get serious about myself, because if you don't, they will play with you. But anyway, I had end up, when I met him in 2014, right? So you know how that be when you meet somebody, you don't automatically like, oh, I want to be with you. You try to get to know him a little bit, especially after my last 2 relationships. Well, my last one yeah, 2 of them. So I'm like, yeah. And honestly, I wasn't even trying to date nobody. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I ain't want no boyfriend. I just felt like, man, I had just got out of 2 abusive relationships back to back. Cause the guy who I was just telling y'all about, the one that was the worst, I end up jumping into, when I met him, I had just got out of an abusive relationship, and I ran into the relationship with him, or even into the friendship with him, because the guy who I was dating before that, he would like do little things, like have like buddies come put sugar in my tank so that I won't go out. He used to stalk my house, and do like weird stuff. And I remember one time I was getting ready to go out to the club with my cousin, and I had on all white that night too. I was so fucking pissed. I had on all white and I was so cute. I get ready, my cousin come in the house, she was like, cuz, I'm like, what's up? She was like, you got oil all over your car. I'm like, what you talking about? She was like, somebody put oil all over your car, inside your car, on your seats, your dash, everywhere. I go outside, I'm thinking she's tripping. Y'all, tell me why this man got a freaking, the car oil that you put in your car, he had to have like 2 or 5. He had car oil all over the inside of my car. The seats, back seats, front seats, floors, dash, all that. So me, I'm like, you know what? And he used to do shit like that because he didn't want me to go out. And like, not only would he do stuff like, y'all, he would like pull up to the club, like he'll ask me where I'm going, I'll be like, I'm going here. And then when I pull up, I'll open my door and he'll come out of fucking pop out of nowhere and dash me with a fucking bottle of water so that I can go in the club. Like, y'all don't even know how many times that happened to me, and I literally didn't go because I'm not from going to the club soaking wet. So this time he took it to a whole nother level. This nigga put oil in my car, y'all, all over it. So I tell myself, you know what? He got me fucked up, cousin. I said, guess what? We finna still go to the club. I said, go in the house, get some towels, bring them back out the side. So she go in the house, she get the towels. I put the towels on the seat. She put the towels on her seat. So I'm like, boom, we good. I wipe the oil off the dash in the back seats. I'm trying to think, did he put them in the back seat? I feel like he did, but I don't really remember. But I know I do. What I do remember is putting the towel on the front seat and the passenger seat when my cousin got in the car. I'm driving down the road, y'all, and I'm thinking, I'm talking shit to my cousin. I'm like, he think he doing something. He think he's stopping something. I'm still finna go out, this and that. I'm driving down the road. Tell me why this oil started leaking from my steering wheel. I had a steering wheel cover, and I guess the oil had done soaked into the cover to the point where it started dripping. And I had on all white. I had on all white pants that night, so when it dripped on my pants, that yellow stain stood the fuck out. So at this point, I am livid. I'm livid, y'all, because I'm like, I know this nigga didn't just I was so mad. I wanted to go out so bad that night, and I was so freaking cute. So I end up driving to his house, went upstairs, bust out every motherfucking window. The fuck? I was pissed. And as I'm busting the windows out, he's pulled up on me. Oh my gosh. So I jump in the car. I run down the stairs. I jump in my car real quick. He trying to block me in because you gotta like drive in, and like I find a way to get out. He chased me through the whole city, y'all. It was crazy. It was like a movie, like. But yeah. But I ended up calling one of my homies from the hood. He was like a brother to me. Had seen me like speeding down the road somewhere. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was running red lights and all. He was just following me, bumping on my car. Like after that, I remember I nicknamed my car Bambi because it was bam the fuck up. Like it was so crazy. That was such a toxic relationship too. But yeah, so that happened. Boom, boom, boom. So the reason why I'm bringing up this story, because this same dude I'm telling y'all about. So in 2014, I had met my peoples, right? But he had ended up getting out in 2014, the one I was just telling y'all about. And I ran into him, and he was like so overly sorry for everything that happened and stuff. And me being young and dumb and still having feelings for him because, you know, he was like the first relationship I was in outside of my oldest daughter's father. So I just still kind of had that a little love for him, and I always kind of wanted it to work with us. And I just felt like maybe I don't know, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like a lot of things that we would do, like he would do a lot of shit because he didn't want me to go out, and I felt like I was maybe being a little toxic too, honestly, because I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have been going out somewhere. I got a man, maybe I should have been home with him like he wanted me to. But yeah, so I kind of felt a little guilty because I kind of felt like I did play a role into, you know, our relationship not working out. So when he came back so apologetic and, you know, all this stuff, I felt like, okay, well, and he like, I want to be with you and all this stuff. So I was like, oh, man, because at the time I had met my peoples, and me and him had been like a couple months in already. But and I ain't gonna lie, I was falling in love with him at that time. But when my ex came back with all that, I was like, and I remember at the time I had started questioning my peoples like about us being serious, like taking it to the next level, like me being his lady, like. And at the time he was kind of like on some shit where he was like, well, you know, I just want to take things slow, I'm not trying to rush nothing. But he kept saying, but I do love you though. So me at the time, I'm like, nigga, you saying you love me, he saying he love me, you saying you don't want to be with me, but he saying he want to be with me. So I'm like, I'm gonna be with the person who want to be with me. And I remember I explained it to him like that, and he was so mad at me. And me and him had to start talking. And I think I had broke it to him like at the beginning of November around my birthday, because by the end of November, beginning of December, y'all, when I tell y'all, this man had done kicked in my door, had done tried to throw my freaking TV out off the balcony, out the back porch, and this was only in a month. He was so toxic that all this happened within a month. I remember he came to the house and he tried to like put his hands on me. Well, he did. He kept trying to punch me, like, and the funny part is I told that nigga he hit like a bitch, and he did. Fuck. But that made him really mad, and that's when he started trying to throw my TV out and shit, and he came back and I locked the door, locked him out, and he kicked my door in, and it was just crazy. But thank God. I remember the apartment people were trying to kick me off, the little public housing thing again. This is a whole other place because of him. And I fought back. My mama had to help me with these lawyers that would basically help people like that can't afford, like, it was called legal aid, if y'all know what that is. But it was basically like they would hear your case, and if they feel like, you know, that you were a victim, then they'll help you and they'll take your case and you didn't have to pay anything. And that's what I ended up doing. And they took my case and they ended up writing the office, and they told the office that she's not paying for this door and she's not responsible for this door, and y'all cannot terminate her because it's not her fault. And what helped me is I had a police report, because you damn right I called the police on his ass. The hell. And I remember when I kept telling him, like, when he hit me and he did all that and he left and tried to throw my TV, I ain't called the police then, because yeah, I did. Damn, I think I slapped that nigga when I came in the house. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know, but I felt like at the time I was kind of, you know, toxic myself a little bit. So, you know, when he had put his hands on me, like, I took it. And when I was telling him he hit like a bitch, I understood why that would make him angrier and try to throw my shit out. So I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have provoked him, you know. But anyway, found out later on the nigga was undercover, y'all. Whole nother story, whole nother day. But what I am gonna say is, yeah, he so when he had done walked out the door, I feel like I had broke his pride. I think that shit kept replaying back in his head when I was like, you hit like a bitch, like, because he did. And he tried to come back. And when he came back, I had unlocked him out the house. And it wasn't no reason for him to come back in there anyway, because he had took all his shit. He said he wasn't coming back. He was like, fuck you and all this stuff. So it's deuces. So when he came back, I already know he's trying to come back. Dude, you trying to break some of my stuff in my house, or you trying to break this beautiful face? And you're not. So eventually he kicked the fucking door in. And that's why I called the cops. Because I felt like, okay, we already had undid this, but you're not going to keep coming back and keep thinking you're going to just, like, terrify me. That's not going to happen. Like, well, no, you're just going about your business. So because I had called the cops and I had my police report, that helped my case, and I didn't have to pay for it, nor did I get terminated. And I believe that he had to end up paying for that door somehow when he went to court or something. I don't know. All I know is when I was pregnant in 2015, fast forward 2015, I had got pregnant from my people that I said I met, because he was so angry at me and he was not talking to me at all when I had made my choice to be with the abuser. But when I had called him after it all happened, he did come and see me, and I remember my door was still broke, and he was just looking at me, shaking his head, like, because I had a black eye, and he was just like, I cannot believe you let this nigga black your eye. And me and him kind of rekindled. It was kind of rocky at first, because he was just like, you know, like, really not, he was kind of playing hard to get, I feel like, because he was still, I feel like, hurt about everything, how I kind of, like, you know, did things, but he didn't really want to admit it, I felt like. But I kind of felt so much regret too, because I'm like, I made the biggest mistake in my life when I fucking chose him over you. So thank God he did. He loved me enough to come back, and me and him, I didn't force anything by being with him at the time, because I felt like it wasn't my place. So me and him just, you know, we were just kicking like we always did. And I ended up getting pregnant with my daughter in 2015. And I remember around in 2015, that's when he ended up calling me, the other guy who I was telling you about, the abuser. And he was like asking me he called me from a jail call. It was on three-way, and he was like, oh, can you please not press charges on me? And I'm like, what? And he was, because it was all from the door. So what happened was, I guess he had started dating this other girl after me. And the interesting part about that too is that when they started dating, it seemed like he started dating her like literally like a couple days, like to the point where it ain't no way in hell that you met her after me. You had already been talking to her. So I peeped that too. Didn't give a fuck though. So, and it's funny, y'all, because going back to the beginning of the video when I went to jail for them 6 days, I remember I told y'all that I met this girl named Passion, right? So me and Passion, like I said, when she got out later on is when I had linked with her, because I told her when you get out, we gonna link, because she was cool. And she ended up getting out, and around that time, she was out. And it's funny because I was over her house one day, small ass girl. Her husband at the time was the abuser that I was telling you about. It was his cousin. And the girl that my abuser was dating stayed in the same complex as her. So she knew of the situation, and that's how I know that he had started going with her like right after me. So that's when I kind of put two and two together. I was like, okay, so he was cheating on me within that month of me claiming that he wanted to be with me. But anyway, he ended up their relationship was so toxic and so abusive to the point where he ended up breaking that girl ribs, y'all. He broke her ribs. That's how small and insecure he was, to the point where you had to beat on a woman. And I felt like the reason why he probably did her so bad is because I felt like he wanted to make sure that she felt the pain that he tried to put on me. Because that night when he kind of kicked my door in and stuff before he left, and he kicked the door in when he was like punching me and stuff, I remember I had bought up in the corner like this, like with both my hands covering my face, because I was trying to protect my face. Like he just kept punching me like in my head. So I was like, okay, well, let me protect my face. And then after he got done punching me with them little soft ass punches he started stomping me. And when I heard about the story about him breaking her ribs, all I could think about was, wow, I felt like he put so much effort into breaking that girl because he realized that he couldn't break me. And I felt bad for her. But he had, not only did he break her ribs, he broke her arm too. Like, so she ended up going to court, and I guess she was so mad about whatever happened with their relationship to the point where she even told the judge about I guess he had another situation in Tampa before he came to St. Pete, and somebody had got shot. I don't think the person died, but they got shot, and they could never figure out who did it. So she ended up telling on him on that too. So he got charged with that. He got charged with beating her up, and he also got charged with what he did to me too. And it's like it all came back in a full circle. And he always kind of like was in and out of prison doing like short little bids, like 2 years at the most. But this time he was looking at 5, and I think that was like the longest he ever did. And I think it kind of scared him a little bit, and that's why his pussy ass called me and was begging me to drop the charges. And I remember what I said to him, and I don't motherfucking regret it. The fuck? And I've told him, I wouldn't give a fuck if you rot and died in that bitch. Don't you ever call my phone again. And I said that shit, and I meant that shit. And I know those people like, damn, that's really mean to say. I don't give a fuck. Like, when someone try to break you and take it. I remember that man called me one day, and he said, bitch, that's why you're gonna have bad credit for the rest of your life. And he hung up the phone on me. Now I got great credit, bitch. Now I'm a nurse. Now, wonderful mother. Everything that he spoke over my life, I broke the chains. That man tried to bring death to me. Like, and it's so much more that he did, and I'm not even talking about in this story. So yes, I said what I said, and for those of you who are like, that's real harsh, I don't give a fuck. And I meant that shit. So yeah, that was the last time I heard from him. And so that was in 2014. No, wait. 14, yeah, because I was pregnant with my daughter, yeah. And then in 2015, yeah, because I met him in 2014. I got pregnant in 2015, and I was pregnant when he called. And then in 2016, I had my daughter, and I was still kind of, I kind of went backwards a little bit after I had my daughter, and I still kind of wanted to hang a little bit. But it was something about, so 2016, I had kind of like snapped back after I had my daughter, because I had my daughter in January at the beginning of the year. In 16, she was born in January, so the whole 16, I kind of like you know, was really kind of focusing on my body because I was so fucking big, y'all, and there was so many people just like, I guess, happy about me being big because I always kind of had a shape. So you know how that, anyway, another time, another day. But I was like, let me snap back and show these motherfuckers. I always been like that too. I fall under the radar and I just be chilling. I don't be doing too much, or I sit back and I watch people count me out, right? And I know it, but but it's like every time motherfucker count me out, it just be like, all right, I just gotta come back with a greater comeback, and I always do every fucking time. That's just like the story of my life. Like, for some reason, motherfuckers always underestimated me, and every time I pop out or show up, it's like rather from me being big and losing weight or me being small and gaining weight, it's like I always get back to my neutral, and a bitch ain't fucking with me in my neutral. Like right now, I'm in my neutral. A bitch ain't fucking with me in my neutral, but I go through, you know, different vibrations in life where sometimes I get more hermit mode and sometimes I be more out and sometimes I be like, I go through the I guess I kind of went back and forth with the caterpillar, the cocoon, and then the butterfly, and now I'm just like in my butterfly season. But at the time I was kind of back and forth, and yeah, and so 16 I had to do my little snap back, and I got my body back right, and I was so proud of myself, and that was my main focus on, you know, just, you know, I just had another baby, and I had 2 kids, and you know, I was starting a family, so everything just shifted, everything was changing, like my body was changing. I was just trying to figure out life, how is I'm going to be this mother, this fiance, because I think in 2016 he proposed to me. I think that's when I got my ring. But anyway, it was just a lot of changes. Like, I was, you know, that was my first time kind of being in a real relationship. I felt like, well, like, it was real. It wasn't all that like puppy love shit. It wasn't like no toxic love. Like, I didn't like bond with him off hurt. Like, it was genuine. Like, I seen him for who he was, his soul and his spirit. He seen me for who I was, my soul and my spirit. He never tried to take advantage of me. He never tried to use me for anything. Those other guys that I dated that I told y'all about who put their hands on me, I realized they don't like they was using me for a place to stay too. Like, I realized that. And a lot of times when you kind of be in the middle of something, you don't really see things for what it is until you outside of the situation. You look back and you be like, wow, I was so dumb. Like, I didn't even see myself how I see myself now, because love can sometimes make you real blind. And I think that's what was happening with me back then, because the love and the way that the man that I'm with now, the way that he treated me, like the way that he spoils me, the way that he gives me, like, I have moments where I would just cry from him just doing little things for me, because I never in my life had a man do that for me before. Like, and he really made me really see and feel that feeling of being loved. Like, I thought that I was in love and felt love before, but I didn't realize that I didn't until I actually did. So not only that, he helped me grow as a woman and as a person, because I felt like, you know, like, he would see my flaws, he would see my cracks, and he would not ignore them. He would bring attention to it, but not in a negative way, in a positive way. Like I was speaking before, like with my family, it's like everybody see you going through stuff, but it's like everybody act like they don't see it, and everybody just going. It's like he seen it. He didn't act like he didn't see it. He addressed that shit with me. He was like, we gotta fix this, because I love you and I want the best for you. And he was just that one person who came in and treated me the same way that my dad treated me. And my dad was the only person who I felt like really truly ever always gave me genuine love, and always like wanted the best for me, and never really told me it was my fault when something happened. Like, but anyway, I ain't gonna talk about that. But my dad was my rock. But my dad struggled with drugs. in his life, though. So he was like, you know, sometimes around and sometimes he wasn't. And when he wasn't, it was because he was dealing with his own like struggles in life with drugs and stuff. And so when my man came around and he started being that person like my dad was, and it wasn't like a on and off thing like my dad was, because he wasn't, you know, struggling with things in his life. It was us. Like, I felt like I found my soulmate. Like, he just showed me a love that I never. He made me feel something I never felt before. And I felt like I met my best friend. And he's still my best friend. And we're so funny because we're so opposite. He's an air sign, I'm a water sign. And we do clash a lot with our opinions on things, should I say. But overall, I love him so much. And I know that he loved me so much. And I know that no matter what happens in this world, I can always call on him. He's gonna always be there for me. And even when I'm going through my worst days, like mentally, because he's not really an emotional person like I am, I used to kind of hide away from wanting to go to him because I felt like he would always say something so unsensitive and it would piss me off. But now it's like I embrace that and I love that about him, because sometimes I be needing somebody who's gonna keep it real with me on a physical level and not more of a spiritual level. And I know only y'all like, no, spiritual is bad. I get it, but sometimes, you know, you still, it's important to have balance. And sometimes I get so caught up into the spiritual realm that I forget you're still a human. So he helped me realize that a lot, and he also helped me realize when I'm kind of in the wrong, and he called me out on it instead of just ignoring it, or instead of just going along with it, just so he could be like, yeah, babe, you're right. Like, and I used to get angry about him with him about that too. Like, why you always taking other people's side? Like, he was like, I'm not taking nobody's side, babe. He was like, I always got your side. It's just I'm gonna tell you the truth. And I love him for that so much. Sometimes he get on my nerves with it still, but I love him at the same time for it. So yeah, in 16, I kind of like, when I had kind of got snapped back, and I'm like, oh, I'm looking good. You know, I hadn't sat down for a while, so I'm like, let me step on this thing a little bit. And I remember I had started partying a little bit again, and that wasn't a good idea. And things just started getting kind of rocky between me and him, because I felt like I wasn't really too much trying to focus on that bun. I was too busy focusing on trying to be that caterpillar again and getting back out of those. And, you know, I done had my baby, but boom, I got pregnant again. And it was something about that second pregnancy. Well, yeah, that second one, but really my third one, because I have 3 kids. But, you know, just the second one, as in speaking from back to back. I don't know what it was, but between me, before I got pregnant with my son, damn. Wait, yeah, I did. Okay, I did get pregnant at 17 because I had my son at 18. I was about to say, damn, did I get pregnant at 16? I'm like, no, because I remember I had a full year of, you know, not being pregnant, and I got my body back, and as soon as I got snatched again, I got pregnant. I was like, ain't that a bitch? But yeah, so I got pregnant again in 17. That's when I had my son, but well, I had him at 18. But when I tell y'all, between the ending of 16 and the beginning of 17, before I got pregnant, and also during the time that I was pregnant with my son, it's like I felt another shift within my energy. And I was already feeling it, like I said, at the end of 16. It's like, because I went back to that party life and stuff and hanging out and doing this and that. But as I was in the midst of that, I felt like something in my soul was like trying to pull me away from that. But I was still like trying to live that life. Going back again to me trying to be authentic to myself, but I knew that I wasn't truly being authentic, because the real authenticness didn't, you know, I felt like in my spirit, it was like, I don't want to do this no more. Like, it's getting old. We've been going out to the club for years now. Like, we hanging around the same people. Like, we just, you know, living a party life, and it's like, it's not really serving us, you know what I'm saying? But I slowly started like getting pulled and drawn to like different things. And I remember that's in 16, I had this journal, And I started like researching, like I started getting real like interested in like Egypt and Egyptians, and I studied like the queens and the kings, and I was just so drawn to Thoth and Thoth. I love Thoth, but yeah, deities and but I was like, I just got so drawn into it, and it was like once I started getting drawn to it, it felt like it was meant. Like I can't really explain it. Like you know how like you meet your soulmate, or you meet like rather it's your friend or your significant other. You know how it's like it's something just clicked, and you just feel like it was always meant for y'all to be together, or like to know each other, or it's just something within your spirit. And I felt like that when I started my spiritual journey, when God started having me look up certain things and watch certain things and learning certain things, and I was just so fascinated with it. It's like I went down like this rabbit hole. But as I'm going down this rabbit hole, I remember I felt so called to it and connected to it, like it was meant for it to happen. So in the midst of that rabbit hole, it carried on into 2017 when I was pregnant with my son, and that's when I just surrendered. Like, I wish I had my old journal with me. I didn't bring my journals today, but I think I journaled that day about it too. But when I surrendered, that's the day when I was telling y'all at the beginning of the video, I balled up into this ball, and I was in the position of a fetus, and I repented for everything that I did and done, and all the things that I was holding on to that I regretted about myself, and that I was ashamed of, and that I never and I realized that I was holding on to so much that I was like heavy, like I was letting all that pain like hold me down, and I just let it go. And I asked God for forgiveness, and I just told God, like, I don't know what it is, but it's something in my spirit and my soul that's telling me I can't keep living like this. And that's when I kind of everything just changed for me, y'all. And I remember I was pregnant with my son, and I told myself, I told my man, I was like, listen, I said, when I have him, I'm going to school, I'm going to get my CNA license, I'm going to get a job at the hospital, and I'm going to do better. Like, I got 3 kids now. I always would think about, like, when my kids get older, how would they see me? And I always wanted them to see me as a successful black woman, because I wanted to be a role model. I wanted to be that, like when they go to school and be like, what your mom do? I want them to be able to be like, to be proud to say what their mom do and who their mom is. And not only that, I feel like a lot of times your kids, they see everything that we do. They with us more than anybody. So, like, I never wanted to be that mother where they can be like, well, you always telling me do this and do that, but you ain't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, as a child, I used to think that low key. So being that I thought that as a child, I was like, I can't say this to my kids if I'm not doing the same thing. I can't tell them to be the best version of themselves if I'm not being the best version of myself. So my kids kind of pushed me and forced me to be a better person too, because I just felt like, okay, I got 3 kids now. Like, I feel like I'm really like an adult now. Like, I gotta grow the fuck up. And I think I was probably like 25 when I had my son. But like I say, my kids made me realize that I got to do better, and made me want to do better for myself. And not only my kids, just like life itself, from like me, going into that cocoon, and God forced me into that cocoon. People leaving my life, taking people out of my life too, and just a lot. And so in 2017, I started my spiritual journey, and I had my son. And after I had my son, I did exactly what I said I was gonna do. I got my CNA license in 2018, and by the in 2018, I got my license. I had got a job. I was making better money then. I was able to buy my first nice car. I had bought an Audi, and the Audi ended up getting repoed because, y'all, when I tell y'all, I didn't get bought from a dealership. That was another thing too. Me sharing my experiences. If you can build your credit up to at least a level where you can go to the car lot, please do that. Never buy a car from a rinky-dink, or not even a rinky-dink. It can be a regular car place. I always prefer anybody to buy their car from the dealership, because when you do that, you know your car is insured. You know what's wrong with the car. You got all that. A lot of these places, they ain't gonna tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, but yeah. So, I ended up giving that car back because I end up having to spend, it was in the shop more than I was fucking driving it, y'all. And I spent more money on trying to get the car fixed than I even put down on the down payment in the payments itself. So, yeah, I had learned the hard way then, okay, don't always be so quick to grab, try to get nice things. Sometimes you gotta kind of like do your research. So, yeah, I ended up buying a car that had so many wire problems, and I ended up spending over $10,000 on getting the car in and out the shop, and they still didn't know what the fuck it was. So I eventually just gave up on that. But fast forward to 2019, I had got a job at the hospital, like I said I was. And I remember at the time, a lot of people telling me like, oh, you can't get a job at the hospital, you gotta have more experience as a CNA to get in there. And I had just got my CNA license, and guess what? I still got in the hospital. And yeah, and that always seemed to happen with my life. A lot of people would be like, oh, you can't do that because you ain't got this and got that. Oh, but let me show you. And I do that every time. That's just what I do. But motherfuckers tell me what I can't do, I'm gonna tell them what I can do. I ain't gonna tell them, I'm gonna show them. That's what I do. I don't say too much. I never say too much. I just let the action speak for me. That's the kind of chick I am. So, yeah. And when I was talking about 18, I think I was talking about 18. I don't even remember what I was talking about. But yeah, so in 2000, yeah, I ain't gonna be out here too much longer. Somebody coming out here with their drums. So I'm gonna try to make this. Oh, we got already an hour and 20 minutes in. Wow, I'm sorry, y'all. Just rumbling my ass off today. But yeah, so 2017, I had my son. Oh yeah, 2019, I got the job at the hospital, and I worked in the hospital the whole 2019. I love that job too. To this day, that was one of the best jobs I ever had. I love interacting with people. I love helping people, healing people. I remember one day this lady was in the hospital. She was at home for 7 days and couldn't poop, and she was in the hospital for 2 days, still didn't poop, and she couldn't leave and get discharged until she pooped. That's all she had to do is poop. They gave her everything you could think of to make this lady poop. Everything, literally. And not to mention she was taking stuff at home too. So anything you could think of, she took it. When I tell y'all, I went in the room and I seen her looking down, and I asked her, what's the down spirit for? And she told me, and after she told me, I said, you're gonna go home today. And she looked at me, and she was like, all right. I said, give me your first and last name. And she gave it to me. And I left her room, and I went into the nutrition room where you get like the little drinks and stuff for the patients who's in the hospital. And it was no one in there. And I remember I just paced around in a circle, and I started praying over her. And I was saying I said her first and last name, and I started praying over her. And as I was praying over her, I was asking God, to heal her, to allow her to, use the restroom so she can go home. And I told her that she was gonna go home before I left. And at the time I was working in the hospital doing 12-hour shifts from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I think it was about 4 or 5. And she had requested for me to come in there from the nurse. And when I went in there, she had a big ass smile on her face, and she was telling me she's getting discharged. And I was like, why? And I remember she held my hand, right? She had both of her hands over my hand. One was under my hand and one was over my hand, and my hand was in the middle. And she said, Ty, she was like, you have a gift. And I don't remember everything she said. I'm not even gonna lie, but I know that she said that. And she was just overly grateful, and she was just telling me like she's thankful, and she just kept saying like about the gift. So I was like, okay. And honestly, that wasn't the first experience. That was the second. I think I told y'all about the first before, when I was in the nursing home with the one lady, and her nephew Billy came to me. But if I didn't tell y'all, drop a comment below and I'll tell y'all that story too. But I know I did though. I did. I told y'all that in one of my lives before, so if you want to catch that one, just let me know and I'll get the name of that video so y'all can watch that one too. Because I had a lot of experience with other people where I would like literally heal them without even knowing that I'm healing them. And it all started for me. It all started in 2017 when I just kind of like surrendered to the Lord. And ever since I surrendered, that's when the Lord started, you know, sending me like, it's like my spiritual gifts started like picking up again, the ones that I kind of like stuck in the back closet and act like I ain't have it. Because I always know I had spiritual gifts ever since I was a child, but I don't know, I just never really spoke on it. People would make it, like, everybody say I was crazy, so I just was like, well, maybe it's just because I'm crazy. And then everybody used to call my daddy crazy, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm just like my daddy, like, who also had a spiritual gift. And my daddy was like, I remember one time he was in and out of pills and all. And it's funny because even though everybody else was calling me crazy, I never seen him like that. Like, I would literally go visit him at pills. I would get mad at my mom for not taking me, but I didn't give a damn what he was at. I'm going. That's how I felt. So yeah. So I've been rambling off for an hour and 20 minutes now, and it's starting to be a lot of people come up like around me right now. And I don't really like talking about my spiritual journey around strangers. And I just like to have it like a sacred place with y'all when I'm talking to y'all. So I'm gonna probably end it here, you guys, and enjoy the rest of my day. But I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling on today about my life. I think I'm gonna name this my story and my journey about my spiritual awakening. But who knows? We'll see when I title it today. But until next time, you guys, I love you guys so freaking much. And I want to let you guys get another view before I leave at the water. Okay, guys. I'm going to go because these people are staring at me. And they won't say nothing, though. It's so weird. They probably think I'm weird. But anyway, I love y'all, and so do God. Until next time. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh yeah, please leave a comment below. Like, I tell you guys it all the time in the comments. Like, you know, y'all can interact with me. I'm just a girl. I won't bite. But yeah, if y'all fucking with the video, if you don't want to leave a comment, that's fine too. It just, you know, if you want to, like the video, help your girl out. See what done. As I'm saying it, I'm like, just like if y'all want to, comment if y'all want to. If y'all don't want to, y'all want to just sit back and listen, just do that. It ain't no pressure. We just kicking back and chilling over here. But, all right. This is y'all.